And Jesus very simply says, love. Love. Simple words. A challenge to live. How often do we hear how God comes among us in Jesus as one who embodies love and calls out to us to live that love? But we can reflect on our moments and our days and think about those places where we continue to fall short, to miss the mark. We wake up in the morning with the dream ahead of us about how great our day is going to be and how we are going to respond to that coworker who can get on our last nerve, or that child in our classroom that we just can't seem to get along with. Or perhaps that one family member where we've wondered what it would take to change them, to get them to be a different person. Or we think about what it would take to do a little more recycling in our homes, or buy a little bit less, so that the world might be a little better off. Or what are the ways that we could change policy when we are but one person in this one country, in this one big world? And we wondered how that dream might change us just a little bit and might affect others. We keep as our center this idea that we are going to love one another. And it's hard work. It's tough. There are those times where we get agitated, angry, and frustrated. How many of you think that loving your neighbor as yourself is an easy task? Yet, how many of you wake up in the day with that aspiration to try to do just a little bit better than maybe you've done the day before, or the way you would like to see that change in you? And I've been thinking about something after reading some writing by Bishop Bob Rimbaud, who had been in the Detroit area, now is in Metro New York, where he talks about this idea of love and how we as Lutherans have this incredible gift to see the paradox of law and gospel in this work of love. And he lifts up the idea even of the Ten Commandments and what we are told we cannot do. That you shall not have any other gods, shall not commit adultery, shall not steal, shall not covet, shall not murder. What happens if we begin reframing that? You shall have one God that you are in relationship with and that you get to celebrate. You get to use God's name as an essence of holiness, a place of embodying love in the world. You get to take one day each week to celebrate what it means to be alive, deeply in relationship with one another, with the creation, with the holy. That you have the opportunity to love and care for your parents, your elders, to celebrate the rich diversity that they pass on, the stories and the wonders. That many of you are gifted with the power to be in relationship with someone who is significant in your life. Cherish that. Honor it. Celebrate it. Don't take the person for granted. Think of what it means to care for each other deeply. Think of what it means to your neighbor. If you make sure that they are cared for and they receive a living wage, that they are lifted up and people do not steal or take away from them, but rather celebrate who they are and how they might be lifted up. Think about what it means to care for your honor and care and honor for your neighbor and celebrate who they are. not to be envious, but to marvel at the lives that they create. If we begin reframing these commandments about what we are not to do into how we are to honor and cherish and live our lives richly and deeply, I believe it reframes this commandment that Jesus gives to us. It opens up our possibility to imagine, to dream in new ways. And rather than the lists of do's and the lists of don'ts and won'ts, it opens up the possibilities of what we can yet aspire to. Perhaps some of you read the paper this weekend about children at play, and how there are researchers who are looking at the human species and our ability to foster in our children a sense of play, and what that means for them. That play inspires possibility in terms of the hypothetical. What is possible? That we begin to see that more people can be engaged, that more colors are available to us, that technology can continue to challenge us and inspire us and allow us to grow. But oftentimes, it starts with little Lego blocks or color crayons. Simple things that allow us to use our imagination, to dream, to wonder. And I'd like to think that when we come to church, we are at play. We are thinking about the hypotheticals in the world, about the what-ifs. And we are willing to take the blocks and the crayons and create a more expansive vision, a new way of being and of caring for each other and the world. We're willing to wonder, to think aloud, to be together. And then we return. We return with Peter and John and Jesus. We say, what are we doing next? How are we going to dream a new dream for the church and the world? With all of these things that we have learned and played with in our theological repertoire, in the Holy Scriptures that have been passed on to us. So today as you leave, I invite you to ground yourself in the hard work of love, but to be equipped also with this imagination and willingness to dream, now and forever.